Assessor?
Oh, why are we?
I don't know, you told me to tell you.
Maybe.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have a moment of silence? It's an event. All right, let's begin.
You didn't say who you were. Me, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, let's go roll call. Legislative Daily,
Here,
Legislative Nightingale,
present.
Legislative Peter, I'm
He's
excused,
excused.
and Legislative Strong.
Here.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes on August 14th.
Move it.
Nightingale, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, is Keith online or here?
Online.
Keith,
Yes, I'm here.
well, you're online, Keith.
I am online. Well, I'm somewhere though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the cloud.
Yeah, you have our report. I don't know if, are there any questions?
Any questions for Keith? There isn't anything, Keith. Anything you might want to say?
No, we're just getting ready for the, we're getting the ballots all put together now. We did the last proof today. And so there are 52 ballots, which is quite an ordeal because we have a different ballot for every election district. So those are all proofed, ready to go out to be printed, ready for the November election.
Hey, thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Sheila,
So you have my report. Still getting the insurance renewals. People are sending them in. They're due next week. You have a correct sheet. September legislating for the 23rd will actually be here at 6 o'clock. And the one on the 25th will be here at 5 o'clock. Any questions? And you have 3 resolutions.
want to know now? You can read them.
The first one is GO1, amending the Cayuga County grant application policy and procedure. All these policies were sent to the ledge with the changes and with the original, so. You guys have them. I don't know if you have any questions on that particular one.
I do not. Does any other legislators have any questions?
Just a point of clarification. I don't know if I saw the different documents, but the tenor of this policy is really to make sure that there's knowledge by the county legislature before departments go out and apply for grants. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Instead of coming to the meeting and saying we were awarded this grant and this is what we will do and what we need.
Well, let's give you a heads up.
Okay, and then sort of a vote or support or rejection for pursuing the grant?
It would be your choice, yes.
Mhm. Okay,
All right, can I get a motion for GO1?
Move it.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
GO2 is to amend the Cayuga County travel and training policy.
Any questions on GO2? Can I get a motion for GO2?
Thank you.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
GO3 is to establish a Cayuga County contracts policy, so this is a brand new policy.
Any questions on GO3?
This was the one that was 1,000 pages. I'm exaggerating. But this is standardization of certain types of contracts. It's right here. Is that sort of, you wanted, these are templates that you're wanting the county to use?
Yes, we're trying to have a model contract, if you would. That's in there. There's also language about what the process is. We've been struggling with when a PO is required and a PO is not required. That's in there. There's also some language as far as what the process itself looks like.
And this would standardize, because the people are using different language or different contracts, and this will kind of standardize what you're expecting them to
An
use?
attempt to try to standardize it, yes. It may
Okay.
take some time to
Yep,
adapt to it.
okay.
Can I get a motion for GO3?
Move it.
Second,
I can go.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you.
Ready, updates, update?
Just a short update, the broadband project, the GDA, we hope to have that signed and approved by the state this week. The next process would be to get the permits for the poles. I know the planning department is working with the contractor to find locations for the, let's call it, data centers along the pipeline. And that's about all I have to report at this point.
I guess I'm curious, there seems to be some kind of movement, a decent amount of movement based on the timelines we have. Is that your?
That's my understanding. It's been a slow process because there's been a lot of back and forth between the county and regional planning, and now that's moved to discussion between regional planning and Connect All in the state. And last week they had a conference call and we're real close to getting it done. We thought it'd be signed last week, but there were a couple budgetary items that needed to be fixed, so we're expecting it this week. So the next step would be for the county then to transfer the 250,000. The bonding process is moving forward slowly. I think the target date is the end of September. That may or may not change depending on when the GDA comes out. Further discussions with fiscal advisors.
But regional planning has I mean, they're well aware of the time frame and the need to get everything moving, because that was the biggest concern, right?
Yes, they're aware. The state's aware as well.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Any other questions for Fred? Sheila?
Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Shelley, I did it last time. I'm so sorry.
Shelley, good.
Shelley couldn't make it. Okay. Did Shelley send anybody on her behalf?
Sam didn't have anybody she could sign.
All right, that's fine. We got a report. If anybody has a question about the report, I didn't read it. I may not be able to answer all the questions, but I can try. Question. Okay, hearing none. Town Bun.
Yeah, so you have my report. I just wanted to highlight one item that we were able to complete this month. That is the .gov domain migration emails. That's 100% countywide. So now we're going to be moving to the next step, which is our website. We'll get that migrated to .gov. Just a quick note on that. All communications will still, continue to happen. So if anybody emails you at your old CayugaCounty.us email, you will receive it on the .gov. Same thing with the website when we migrate that. If you go to CayugaCounty.gov, that'll work. If you go to CayugaCounty.us, that will continue to work as well via the redirects that we're going to be putting in place. So there really should be no impact to end users or anything like that. But I did want to let you know that that project is just about nearing completion.
Will there be an expiration date to the CayugaCounty.us?
No, those are like redirects that we can put in place on the back end. So there's no, we'll just leave them alone.
Mark?
Tom, I know they kind of gave us a little brief. At JPS, the issue over the power outage and the batteries and all that. Are we 100% taken care of with that?
That's another piece to the report that is fully complete. So there were two pieces to that. The generator, that's been fully resolved. The batteries were replaced by facilities. We've run multiple tests since, and we have a weekly test now set up. We've been executing them without any issues whatsoever. Then on the 911 side, we have the UPS unit. Those batteries all had to be replaced, which we found out maybe a month or so ago. We worked with the vendor, got those all done. They've been tested already twice as well. So that building is good from that standpoint.
Perfect. Thank you for your attention to it. Thank you.
Any other questions for Tom? You got a resolution, huh?
Yes, This is authorizing the chairperson of the legislature to renew the service agreement for annual support annual license agreements and annual support agreement for Black Creek Sallyport software.
Move it, Mark.
Discussion.
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's great.
Thank you.
All right, okay. Moving on. Kevin,
Hi there.
how you doing, Kevin?
All right. So I'll start with the resolution I have up there. I want to withdraw that. I was trying to be proactive and sometimes it doesn't pay to be proactive. And I'm probably going to resubmit it next month, but I had some funds, but then I had some problems with some workers not doing some work, but now I've got some people that are doing work. So I want to make sure I balance the books before I transfer that money. There's no rush on that as long as it's before the end of the year. And I think next month will be fine. So we can withdraw that resolution, please.
Okay, anything else, anything else you want to say, Kevin?
As report is submitted, had a good time talking to veterans up at the Hogs for Hero event in Weedsport this past weekend. We've got the emergency preparedness training going on this coming Saturday here in Auburn. And it's also, there's a typo on my report. We also are working with Department of Homeland Emergency Services up in Fairhaven on the 23rd next week as well for that. So keeping busy talking to veterans and I think making progress connecting veterans in the county.
Good. Mr. Brown?
Kevin, can you just give me a quick rundown? We're trying to designate Cayuga County as a Purple Heart County. Can you just explain that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so really what that involves is issuing a resolution saying that we will support Purple Heart recipients, which essentially we're already doing. And we will also designate like Purple Heart Day. I forgot the exact date. We'll set that aside each year to recognize those who have a Purple Heart. The interesting thing is that Route 20 is already a Purple Heart route. And so what we may end up doing is trying to get some signs that as people enter the county, they will know that we are a Purple Heart supporting county.
Thank you for that, please.
So I'll be working on the resolution for that. That may come around next month as well.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Anybody else want to put the Kevin? Let's do it now.
Kevin, were you able to get the amount of people you needed for Saturday's training?
I have not heard back, but I had a pretty good response and I haven't heard it's been canceled. I will get a definitive answer on that tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Kevin, thank you for all you do for the veterans and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I get a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. Want to watch my son play some football.
Let me go? Okay,
It's basically total.
I'd like to call the Ways and Means meeting to order. If we could do a roll call, Elaine Daly, I'm here. Heidi Nightingale. Bob Shea.
Here.
Okay. Ben Vitale.
Here.
Tom Winslow.
Here.
Could I get someone to make a motion to approve the August 19th minutes?
Move it. Second.
Okay, great. All right. We have no appointments at this point in time, so there are 3 resolutions. They're all from real property, but we can start with some updates or any questions for our treasurer, Dave Dempsey.
Hi, does anyone have any questions on my form that I sent in for you? Okay. You want to talk? This last week, we had a meeting, myself, Mark, Bob, Fred, Lynn, Melinda, Elaine, and myself, and there's been a lot of talk about updating some language for the STRs. You may recall at your last meeting, you had a lot of questions and a debate about tourism and the percentages of income that you decided that you wanted to leave where it was and not change. But what you forgot to do or didn't know was on that same evening, in that same resolution, there was language to update our STRs. And when you voted that down, I don't think anybody caught the fact that we didn't get a chance to update the STRs. So what I wanted to talk to you about was what we want to try to do is bring our language up into the same place that our state language is right now for STRs. And as you may know, the governor has decided to have sales tax on the STRs. STRs, short-term rentals, and anything 30 days or less. And she has decided to take a tax on that. We're not interested so much in that because we don't have anything to say about the sales tax. The governor has passed that and that's what it is. What comes into play for us is the occupancy tax and what we charge for our short-term rentals and have since 1994. In that language from 1994, this body passed that occupancy tax, and they deemed anything under 30 days was considered a short. That's how what we've been collecting under the short-term rentals for is anything under 30 days. Since the last 5, 6, 8, 10 years, there's been an explosion in the STRs because of the STR or because of the Verbo and the Airbnbs has become the new thing that people like to do. And so we've garnered a lot of funds from that. And that's why the governor got involved for sales tax. She wanted to collect that. But in our case, all we're trying to do here is update our language so it mirrors the state image. And I refer to Fred on that if he wants to chat about that a little bit. This is not having anything to do with a tax. This is simply the language. Okay? We have been collecting an occupancy tax since 1994. We're not changing anything. And there's been a lot of confusion about that. And this change of the language is designed to clear any of that up and to mirror the state language.
Would it be fair to say, Dave, that changing the language of our current local law will also, not in addition to mirroring the state, better reflect our current practice?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because there's been a lot of confusion about, and back in 1994, there was something was not called an STR, a short-term rental. It was just called people that came and they stayed for less than 30 days. And that's what they were collected under for the last number of years. But because of Verbos and the Airbnbs and the short-term rental explosion, then we feel it's important to clear up our language so that it's 100% in line with those. Fred, do you want to say anything about that?
You've said it all. I mean, it does clear up the language. It does mirror the state. Right now, I think it's Airbnb is the only organization, only platform host that has a contract with the county. So this allows this language change, if it's adopted, clears it up and makes everybody knows who's supposed to be taxed and who's not supposed to be taxed. It does away with any disagreements that might be out there.
Right, and I just want to reiterate, because there's been a lot of confusion in the community. This is not a new tax. There is no new tax. And that's the main thing that I want people to know. And the language is just the key thing that we're clearing up. And I don't want anybody to get confused by that, okay? Because there has been a lot of calls from different people around and there's been a lot of confusion about that. And I just wanted to make sure that we knew we're not creating any new tax of any kind.
In the discussion that I've had or been involved with, if we were to bring this back, we'd have to set another public hearing because that one failed.
That's correct.
And then we would change the language, and we fought the fight about the distribution. That's not the fight we're going to have the second time, but we would bring this forward, amend the language to better reflect our current practice, and leave at this time the distribution alone, 95 and 5. That was sort of what we had decided.
Right. I just want to say, this is not about the distribution. You've already had your arguments and discussions about that, and you made your votes last time. This has nothing to do with that.
So it's simply just the wording.
Correct.
Amendment.
That's all.
Just to be clear, it is not adding any tax to
Right.
anything.
That's correct. And I know you had some concerns at the last meeting about that, and I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. There's no new tax. Because I've been receiving phone calls, and I know a lot of you probably have as well. And there's a lot of confusion about that. Yes.
When we looked at this resolution last month, we all saw that there was a lot of community concern. We gave many people the privilege of the floor. We're saying that this resolution is coming back to change this language, but it doesn't guarantee that someone on our board is going to make an amendment to go back to that distribution issue.
Well,
And I think it puts us at risk for that.
well, theoretically, somebody could bring that up at any time and ask to change that, right?
It sounds to me like, it's going to start over from scratch. And the distribution part of it, what you're saying is it's not going to be in the new resolution.
That's correct. The new resolution is not even going to discuss that at all. It's just going to be language. And it won't change what you've already voted on.
So what's your timeline? When are you thinking about bringing a resolution like this forward?
I guess there had been discussion about September, setting the public hearing, and the public hearing in October.
Oh,
It has to be done by December 28th. So we're kind of running out of time if there's an interest.
yeah, that's why I was going to recommend that you do it in November and then have the vote in December. That way you don't have that confusion during budget season.
The matter though, Fred, just the language is a county discretion to change our language. This vote that has to happen is the opt-in and opt-out.
That's a
So
different,
that's not confuse this with that, right?
that's correct.
Okay.
This is just to amend it to include a definition of short-term rentals.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I mean, so what's the difference whether you do it in September, October, or November? I mean, my feeling is that you do it later in the month, later in the year, when most of the budget stuff is done, then you won't have that confusion.
Well, as
But
far
if you
as
do it-
changing the rates. Took me a minute to catch up. No, you're, it's been a long day. I apologize.
I have a clarifying question. So you're saying the opt-in and opt-out is a separate issue.
Correct.
Okay, so why are we changing this language now? Why wasn't it changed last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Well, it's just really come up in the last few months. Ever since 1994, it was never an issue until it's kind of come because of the sales tax change and because of some of the people locally have been involved. It just came to front. It had never been an issue before. It was always collected the other way and there was never any issues.
But I think when Airbnb was doing the collection, I'm sure it came up at some point because we were.
Well, we didn't have the ability to It wasn't in the state law at the time. It was short-term rentals were added to the state law to permit counties to use that to extend the occupancy tax.
So when was it added to the state law?
I don't recall that.
Not yesterday, though.
Not yesterday.
6 months ago, or?
Probably not 6 months ago. Why it didn't happen before that, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that.
I guess, do we have to do this change before the end of the year? Because the opt-in, opt-out.
No,
Before the end of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't confuse it with that. You have, by the end of the year, you have to decide about opting.
You thinking we
and
could
opt-out.
do both at the same time?
Sure, we could do this next year. I don't know.
Well, you have to opt out by December 28th.
Right.
Okay?
Well, we don't have to do anything.
Well,
Yeah, we
okay.
choose to decide
Okay.
decide as a legislature to.
The legislature
Yes, we
chooses to
have to
opt
do
out.
that, yes.
Right, and then you can opt back in at any time after that. But if the legislature chooses not to opt out by that December 28th date, you can't opt out again. You have one bite at the apple, so to speak. That's not to be confused with amending the present local law on occupancy tax to put the language in there about short-term rentals.
And not putting words in your mouth, you would feel comfortable with an amended language, and so would you.
The amended language, yes,
Yeah.
not to be confused with the opting in or opting out.
To better reflect what we're currently doing.
Correct. This law, by
You know,
way
when we
of,
do, if we do it in September or November,
by way of a little bit of history, in 1994, when this was enacted, the idea of it was called a bed tax back in those days. And it was all the counties in the state around us were doing this. And the plan was to create some income for tourism to use. Because back in those days, the buzzword around was tourism. We need more tourism to bring in local dollars and so on. And so a lot of this was already out there. And so we created this bed tax / occupancy tax at that time. And then short-term rentals weren't even discussed back then. They're a relatively new phenomenon in the fact of they're where you hear about them all the time. They were there before we categorize them as under 30 days. And it was in our language, our local law, our raw local language developed at that time for this new occupancy tax. So all we're really doing is just updating that to reflect the language that they use today.
And the current language is boarding tax?
Well, there's boarding houses are in there, but where we're covering the STRs are under the 30 days. It's 30-day rentals and or boarding houses and or whatever, and how it's in there right now.
So the ask is there an interest in amending the local law to include short-term rentals? If the answer to that is yes, then the question is, when do you want to do it?
and Heidi, I know, I was in full support of taking a percentage, for the county. I will not, support that if this moves forward at this time. I was at the point, but I think there are people here who felt the same way, that we would, if that failed and there was all this public outcry, if we changed the language, I would not go back to the position I had before. And, I don't know. I think there's some kind of consensus on that.
If we could get consensus on that and we could go, forward with that, I think that if we didn't, it would be very tricky business. It'd be very slick, tricky business if we were to present it and that amendment came up. And I think that would be very unfair to the vote that occurred before.
Yep.
So I hope that indeed, as a group, that we are only looking at this language to align it with the language you need it to be aligned with.
I completely understand what you're saying, and that's all this is. If you want to have another discussion about that, you need to do it separately.
Yep.
And also the opt-in, opt-out thing is getting a lot of conversation around. And we're looking to present that later in the year, next month sometime, or closer to the end of the year. In this meeting, Jonathan wanted to wait, and he was very vocal about waiting a little while. He wants to look at some different things, and we'll make that decision later, and we'll be presenting that here as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, what Melinda had said is basically, in her opinion, opting out would mean we would not have access to the state's registry.
Correct.
That's really all that means in her mind, that we would not have the ability to have the registry. And we have a registry and a lot of other counties don't.
Correct. We're way ahead on the registries. We have 90+% of our registry done already. And that's part of the presentation we'll get into with you next month. I don't want that to skew what we're doing tonight. But we'll meet at your caucuses and/or this meeting and for sure the full legislature at the next month to go over all that and answer any questions that you may have about that. But tonight, this is just about language.
And discussion.
And discussion.
Yep.
And feel free, if any of you privately want to call me or go over any of this stuff, I'm happy to meet with you and discuss all of that with you.
Thank you both. Grace, do you have anything else or anything you'd like to share as part of your report?
I just want to highlight that there are a couple items on here that will be falling off for next month. We are finally finalizing our year-end audit, thank God, just in time to get ready to start the next year end. But so we are finalizing that. I did review the draft financials. We should have those hopefully this week. The final financials will be uploaded onto the county website when we get them. And the other thing is we're hoping that by the end of September, we will be finishing up with the fixed asset conversion, and we will be going live by September 19th. So that will be a project that will be completed. I just wanted to highlight, I did send out, I'm not sure if everybody got, but I did send out last night or yesterday, the sales tax update through September. Good news, the last couple of months have been about 10% over last year's same month. So that's kind of helped our percentage a little bit. I did give a forecast. It was very conservative. But if I estimated it, that we came back about 4% over the next 4 months over last year's, we should pretty close to break even to what was budgeted. So hopefully the trend will continue and we'll do even better than that. But
And finalizing your audit was essential for this RAN, or is that having
broadband, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that the chart got out of DSS or whatever they were
Yes.
waiting for?
Yes, and then also just to even talk about, I know, Ben, you had asked me last month about the one case file for DSS. That has been taken care of. They do have all of the cases they need. They did come back and need some additional information from Emergency Management Services grants because there are also some federal awards there. We've provided that information, so we should be fine with complying with federal audit as well.
Great. Thank you. Jenny, you're the one with the resolutions?
Yes.
Okay.
Before I get to my resolution,
Yep.
so, I had included in the report that the auction closed. Next month, I'll include detail as far as the results of that. But just quick overview, all the parcels did sell. So far, it looks like there will be surplus funds on 9 of the parcels, but we did take a loss on 3 parcels. So a little less than 6,500 loss as far as not covering the delinquent taxes, interest, penalties, all of that stuff. But like I said, I'll have more detail for you next month once we at least have deposits in for all of the properties.
Okay.
And yes, Elaine was gracious enough to let me also add a 3rd resolution today. So I don't know if you guys have it or if you need copies. You do have it?
Yeah, it came in.
Oh, okay.
I have it.
Okay. Does anybody need a copy?
I have a question on the delinquent properties. When they go out for auction, does it have to be sold or can we pull it?
Prior to the auction, yes.
No, prior to the auction, we can pull it.
Yes.
If we don't think it's enough money, can we pull it?
You can't reject the bid.
Yeah, you can't reject the bills.
Simple question.
And I would prefer to get I guess my own viewpoint is I would prefer to get the properties back on the tax roll. We're
Right.
actually paying the taxes on the properties and us just
I get
holding
it.
something longer than what we need to. So. But certainly if you guys, have a different viewpoint on that, we
Don't have a
could,
different viewpoint.
I say we could work with the auctioneer to put a minimum bid on the properties, but then we're
Right.
in the risk of not selling some of them, which, like I said, my preference would be to get them back into somebody's hands as taxes on them.
Not because I wanted to change what we're doing. I was just.
Okay. All right. Just putting out there though, that, there is another way that we could do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we'll group together WM 1, 2, and 3, and you can go through them. They're all, the first two are renewing agreements with the county in Moravia and with the county in the town of Niles for your office to do assessments.
Correct, assessment services. And then the third one is Sempronius. They had reached out and wanted to have us do assessment services for them as well. So essentially all assessors' terms are ending September 30th. So that's kind of why I asked to get this pushed on so that we could have support before October 1st when they'll be in need of it, the services. So.
I move to bundle WM 1, 2, and 3.
Second?
One second.
And when we met and talked about your budget, just the back history, there was a staff that was added to your department
Correct.
on the guys that we can take these towns and do the assessments on their behalf.
Mhm.
And you were the one that told us that the individual that we're hiring, you were asked what percentage of reimbursement was getting taken from that position. And it was between 70 something and 83.
Right. This
And-
will bring us more towards 90-95 range. And I will say that individual also does do county focused work as well. So the fact that it's not going to be 100% reimbursement, 100% of his time is not spent doing assessment. So.
But you can absorb this Sempronius without having to add
Yes.
staff or do
Correct.
anything else with this one
Correct.
staff you have.
Correct. We can add that to his workload.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Thanks, Jenny. Oh, you're just hiding in the background. Hi. Do you have anything to highlight in your report?
Probably just to stress that you may see resolutions coming forward for the health program from various departments. The state is pursuing possibly a new testing system. So they are encouraging counties in the meantime to move positions into the health program because they will have a limited number of exams offered in 26. So in case you're wondering why all of a sudden departments are bringing health positions to you. So that's the direction that we are moving in. So.
And just because I think we're all used to it now, we have to create a non-bargaining or a non-competitive position and put them in health, and then we have to move them into the competitive position after a year if they start.
Right. Yep.
Right.
So
And
we'll
we'll,
just be moving funding.
Yep.
The positions will already be funded in the budget, so it's not like we're adding positions. So we're just reclassifying them for now.
Yep.
So.
Any questions for Diane? Great.
All right,
Thank you. And Amanda is out on leave, not able to participate in this meeting tonight, even remotely. So if anything for her, we'll have to.
I have a quick question for Diane. Diane, you're recording there's 28 authorizations to fill. So there's 28 positions that you're actively working to fill.
Correct.
Okay.
Majority of them are within DSS for like caseworkers. Obviously, we have a lot of custody officers open. And then we have the MEOs and highway are pretty much, they did the bulk of what's open right now beyond some other positions within departments.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
They've all had approvals to fill
Yes.
and they're just waiting to be filled.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, if we want to go through, and if there's no other business, we can go through resolutions. Heidi, Health and Human Services.
Madam Chair, Health and Human Services reviewed 9 resolutions, all of them passed through committee. I would like to bundle HH2. Each of these are allowing us to accept funds. HH1 is accepting $25,000 in funding from the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance for emergency services that assist in domestic violence. And the HH2 is accepting funds from Youth Employment Program and subcontracting. Subcontracting would actually happen internally with our Cayuga County Workforce Development, and that is a large grant of $414,000.
Get a motion for line 2.
So move.
Second, all in favor? Okay.
I'd like to bundle HH3 and HH6. Both of these are dealing with contracts. HH3 is entering into a contract with mental health, the provision of detention, respite bed, mental health diagnostic assessments for DSS. They're to make recommendations for treatment. And HH6 is authorizing the Director of Community Services there to contract with Nick's Ride Beers. $125,000, and this is from the opioid abatement settlements.
A motion for 3 and 6.
I'll move.
Second,
Second.
any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I would like to move HH4, which authorizes the county mental health director to establish satellite sites within the Cayuga County school districts who may want to enhance their programs and access to mental health services. It's sort of an overall resolution that would allow county mental health, community mental health to go in and in the work with satellite sites per this resolution. And instead of one-offing each time a school approached us.
Okay, motion
I'll move.
second, I'll second. Any questions? All in favor?
Oh, great question.
Yep, sure.
This wouldn't increase the number of employees or anything. It would just be,
Correct. So when we are approached to set up a site, one of our workers would go out there, and typically we would be working with the same kind of clients except for, or same people. They wouldn't have to come into Auburn. The young people would be able to be served at their school site. And because it's considered a satellite clinic for these purposes, the clinic would also get 125% reimbursement with Medicaid.
no increase in staffing though.
Correct.
All in favor? Aye.
HH5 authorizes the mental health department a transfer of funds to cover psychiatric care. So there have been evaluations that have occurred at the rate of just over $56,000. And we'd like to move that $56,000 out of the evaluation line into the evaluation line and decrease the full-time salary line because of the number of social workers that have been down all year. There is the money in the social work salary full-time line to be moved over to this evaluation line and cover the 56,000.
Move it.
Second.
Yep. Lauren certainly did say these are the 730s and this is enough to pay the bill she has, but there were different, more expenses, then she'd have to come back at some point, but For now, this covers the obligation that the department has within our own budget. Okay,
And I'd like to bundle HH 7, 8, and 9. These are all public health department resolutions to fill 100% mandated, 100% funded and mandated positions in our lead registry program. One is and these are create and fills using the HELP program. Community Outreach Education and Partnership Coordinator, the lead program manager, and and 2 environmental health technicians who would be out in the field working with landlords, looking at homes, et cetera.
I get a motion for HH 7, 8, and 9 and a second, and then any discussion?
Move it for a second.
Okay. Any discussion on these?
These are just kind of go back to what Diane was saying about the help positions, and these are created due to that, or these.
Well, they're new positions within the health department and they're eligible to be help positions. Yep. And I think Heidi said it best at the meeting. This is the first time you've said the words funded mandate.
You rarely get a funded mandate. And it's part of New York State public health law. So
they've given what, $500,000 for this lead work?
Considered a community of concern because of the age of our housing in this county. So they did fund this mandate and have been, actually.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Government ops, we don't really have to do, we just did that with everyone sitting in the room, but GO 1, 2, and 3 are county, new county updated policies. Grant policy, travel and training policy, and contract policy. GO 4 is authorizing the chair to renew a service agreement of the license agreements and annual support agreements for Black Creek Sallyport software, presented by Tom Bunn from IT. 5 was pulled, and entertain a motion for GO 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll move.
And second? No questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Planning?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Planning has one resolution authorizing to accept a grant from the Fred L. Emerson Foundation in support of Oral Era Agriculture and Country Living Museum. Replacement of the museum log cabin at Emerson Park.
Okay, do I have a motion for PL 1?
Thank you. Move it.
Second?
Second.
And that was amended? This is the amended version that we're passing?
Believes it, yes.
I don't know what's in front of you. There were 2 amendments made to it.
Yeah.
Under the third, whereas it was just a textual change that basically said the Agricultural Museum said has raised, and it will say will donate up to, so it's a donation. So it allows the county to receive the funds directly. And then under the first resolves, it just adds that language to authorize the accepting of the donation from the Friends of the Museum.
Yeah.
And we also put in the Fred L. Emerson Foundation in that last resolve, just so it says donation from the Friends and also the donation from the Fred L. Emerson Foundation.
Yeah, I don't actually even see the amended version in here. Okay, Heidi, you amended the 3 health department resolutions to include language.
Yes.
Funding is gone, the position would be no longer.
Yes.
That's in here, but I don't see your amended version here, but we should.
I'll make sure it's uploaded.
Okay.
Pledge and.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay, so. All right, planning, and there is Public Works.
Okay, Public Works has really 6 resolutions. PW 1 was passed at Public Works, and that was to declare highway equipment surplus. So I look for a resolution, motion for PW 1.
I'll move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll go down to PW5, we're authorized to amend the estimated expenditure for snow and ice agreement with New York State. That also went through works and was passed. And for PW5.
I'll move it, but I don't, I don't know exactly what it means to amend the estimated expenditure.
It's to accept the additional $800,000 New York State that we.
Oh, so you're amending your budget to accept this money?
Right.
Okay, yep, all right,
I didn't know the number, but it was to accept more money.
yep, all right. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye. Okay, PW 2, 3, and 6, I asked to refer them to Ways because they would not have had enough votes at Public Works to get support. So if people want to bundle 2, 3, and 6 together, that's okay with me.
Because if you voted no, then they would have failed and not come, so you would have had to vote yes to move them here?
There was not enough people to,
I thought there was a quorum of 3.
with a quorum, but I would have voted no, and then it would have been, they wouldn't have come here.
Unless you,
So I
yes,
asked
there to get them
I
here.
asked the committee to refer it to Ways so that my one vote wasn't gonna disrupt everything. Is that fair,
Well,
Brian?
I just figured if there was a quorum, you'd have to take a vote, but. Is that true?
The rules say that if you're at a meeting, there should be a vote, but the practice has been, we have in situations like that, either had one of two things happen. The individual says, looks like it's going to fail, I'm going to vote in a particular direction to get it to Ways and Means.
So I'll support it here, but maybe not there.
That's correct.
Okay.
Or the other way is to refer it over. But the rules do say if it's, it's a resolution, you're supposed to vote on.
Next time I'll vote.
Okay. And this is PW 2, 3,
And
and
6.
6.
I will bundle, I moved to bundle PW
PW.
3 and 6.
Yeah, PW 4 was pulled at committee.
Yep. All right, all in favor of the bundle?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
And then finally, sorry for the confusion.
Yeah.
Finally, PW 7, I asked to be added because I forgot it that night. But our highway superintendent, supervisor, whatever, last year was appointed for a 4-year term, I believe. We did a one-time increase in pay. And I said at the time that I would like to bring it every year for review. So this would just be fixing date for the public hearing. So that on the anniversary, if we were to give them a raise, it could happen. I have spoken with Brian and whether we do this or not is not gonna affect him personally. It doesn't. He has said it doesn't really matter. If we want to try to do this as a practice and even give him a 1% raise, that would be fine. If we choose not to do it at all, that's also fine. So I'm just looking for direction from Ways, whether you want to go through the practice or not. My suggestion is, I mean, even if we don't do the practice, my suggestion is that we try to do this with all people that have been appointed for 4 or 6-year terms or whatever. Because in the past, we have seen where the department head gets a small raise and the union people get a larger raise. And it's not going to happen in this case, I don't believe, but there has been cases where you start to get compression. There's not a lot of difference between the employees and the supervisor. So.
I guess the reason we're having to do another public hearing is because we're changing a salary within the term.
If that's correct to do.
Right? If it had moved and we had done this Okay, because we only did it for 1 year, we have to go through the whole process of a public hearing.
That's correct.
Every year?
Yeah, apparently.
And anytime you change the salary of an elected or appointed during their term.
Without setting it at the origination of the term.
Yes.
Correct, without setting it by resolution at the original time, prior to.
Even if you want to change it, even if you set it at the original one, then you decide you want to change it, you still have to have the public hearing.
That's correct, because you're changing the salary within the term.
Right.
And I think to your point, Ben, there have been times where people were appointed with a 1.5% increase, then realizing that the unions were getting, or the non-bargaining were getting 3, and then they started from scratch again and, you know, applied the same percentage.
So basically, it's forcing us to actually look at these annually instead of, you know, just burying our heads in the sand and just moving on. And then you might end up with an employee that's really not happy and, you know, you also want to avoid the compression issue.
Well, I will move W7.
I'll second it, but just so we can have a vote and move on. And even if you want to have a public hearing, that doesn't mean you have to do the raise.
Fixing the day and notice of a public hearing is a legislative, it's for the legislature, not a committee, correct? He wants to move it forward to the
The practice has been when there are salary adjustments, sometimes they come from the committee,
Okay.
sometimes they come from Ways and Means, sometimes they come from the ledge. So there's no real clear direction. So this is proper before this committee. It doesn't matter which way this committee wants to go.
And if this moves forward, it's your goal that in September, we will, next week, we're going to host this public hearing. It'll be listed down on the ledge agenda to have a public hearing for changing the highway superintendent's salary, and then move forward with it next month.
Correct.
Yeah. I would support having this. I don't, you know, the 1-year term forces to look at, and we can, to your point, we can change anything anytime we want. But yes, Brian was appointed and for a 4-year term with only 1 salary.
Correct.
Yep. I would support this. You too? Yes, no? Yes?
Just so you know, I'm going to vote no, because I just wanted to have the conversation more than anything else. Because I think we missed the boat a lot of times. And
Your strategy is very confusing.
confusing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, so that passes with a no vote?
I didn't know we voted yet.
Oh,
Right.
No, I just saw head nods.
I was just giving you a heads up that I'm going to vote.
Who's in favor of having a public hearing in September to move the highway superintendent's salary that has not moved? When's your term over? October what? Don't you have a fixed
Well,
term?
that's 3 more years.
No, but his dates of, his first year salary was set from what to what? 28th of October?
I believe so.
It's October though.
Yes, October. That's why.
That would be the same if it, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can I take a vote on who's in favor of this? Okay, opposed? Yes, clear as mud. All right, that moves forward. Judicial and public safety.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks for coming back from
Public safety.
vacation. Thanks for coming back from vacation.
Couldn't stay away too much.
I know.
Judicial and public safety has a total of 11 resolutions. I guess I'll start out, I like the bundle JP1 and JP3. They are both authorizing contracts with the Cayuga Counseling for services within the probation department.
I'll move 1 and 3.
Thank God, second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. Next up, I would like to bundle JP2 and JP4. Authorizing to accept funds. One, JP2 was gift grant for probation. And then JP4 being accept grants in the sheriff's department for the governor's traffic safety committee for child passenger safety and public services.
Motion for JP 2 and 4. Second. Questions? All in favor?
Aye. JP5, actually, I would like to make a motion to table JP5 until September, or I'm sorry, till October, and bring it back with amended wording to date it for effective of November 1st, or November after the hiring pauses.
All right, you're tabling that, or you're tabling it till next month.
Correct.
Okay.
And bring it back with amended language.
Okay. You don't have to vote. Do we have to vote on the table?
Yes.
Okay, I'll support that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep. Thank you, Tom.
JP6, authorizing the sheriff to fill one vacant deputy sheriff custody lieutenant position in the custody division and any resulting backfill positions in the Cayuga County Jail.
Thank you. Move it.
I'll second. I think, just Diane, you did say that the sheriff was able to fill 5 of his vacancies. They have to go to training, but these are the entry-level custody officers.
This is actually the lieutenant.
Right,
He's
but-
one of the supervisors. But yeah, some of the entry level custody officers that he's had open throughout the year, he has had 5 that he's been able to fill. He still has 7 that are vacant.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions on JP6? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to bundle JP7 and JP8. They are also authorizing the chair of the legislature to renew contracts. 7 is with Power DMS for law enforcement personnel scheduling and communication service. And JP8 being with Global Link Corporation, the main operation and maintenance of the incarcerated individual telephone system and tablets at the county jail. Move it.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
JP9, to authorize changes to the 2025 Cayuga County compensation plan to reflect salary increases of certain non-bargaining positions in the Cayuga County Sheriff's Office. Move it.
I'll second. And this is for the state employees at the court? The $1 for state employees? Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye. JP11, authorizing the chairperson of the county legislature and the county emergency services director to accept New York State Division of Homeland Security program to fund technical rescue and urban search and rescue equipment and training.
Move 10.
It's 10. Yep.
Thank you. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And lastly, JP11, authorizing the creation of a temporary leave bank for a Cayuga County Sheriff's employee.
I'll second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right. There's no further business. Motion to adjourn?
Move it.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Elaine,
Yes.
the public hearing is for a 1% thing?